Hello, peoples. Okay. I labeled this one inundated community donation. I had actually started looking at some of the businesses in the neighborhood, and I actually not only went to them, but I also went and applied on their corporation website. Some locations have corporate responsibility. Okay. I know that there is some people who be like, "Oh, well, listen, no, 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 no. I don't know about none of that." Like, it's just we do want to filter and ask for money. Okay, now I don't know. Let's just say the arts, because my focus is to plan that event. It's 7 days. Okay, so I'm looking at two, and this is 2 days at the park. It don't have anything to do with, let's say, some other location. Okay, I know that I have applied for funding for Friday for Kuji Chagalia 30 experiment. It's 30 experiment Kuji Chagalia, and where that is almost like a stay. Okay, so matter of fact, I wrote it out like it will be a say, like a say session. Okay, and it will be infused with the arts. So that's on Friday. So I put in a grant for that. Um, the other one is that I put in requesting money for a park activity. We do want to raise money for the park. Don't get me misunderstood. I mean, I'm sure that the park and everything will work out something with us, but we all these funds. I mean, it's going right back into the community. So I was like, okay, we're circulating, this money that is being made inside of our community back inside of our community, meaning that the access for us to get funding is there. Okay. And then the impact that we will see, like us actually doing community projects together, will come when we actually have people together. That's my thought about it, right? Like there's other things that we can do in regards to our community when we're together, when we're actually putting forth, let's say, the efforts to want to say we want to see our community ameliorated. But the issue that I'm having is denial. Okay. So I wrote out one letter and I'm like, okay, I set up my little cards for corporate. Okay. Because the thing is that if the corporate, and I know some of these like McDonald's and Burger King, KFC, they've been here as long as I can think about it. They've been here for a while. Okay. So if we're asking them for funding, we want to be funded. We're going through all the paper process and everything to be legitimate, okay, to be legal. So the question would be, well, why we're not being funded? So anyway, I have maybe about 10 organizations or 10 corporations that I'll be, it's about 10 of them. And I'm not quite sure how I need to write this letter. So sometimes, don't get me misunderstood, it's a good time to, as they would say, be still or be rested. Don't, try to overthink it or overdo it. Sometimes it's good just to kind of come back off of the table. You see all the work is there, and then come back and then just try to work on it, okay? Maybe here it is, clearing out your thoughts. You have another perspective at whatever it is that you're trying to do. But I'm like, wait, one moment now. I don't know what their donation levels are in this particular area, but I know that for the arts, and I think for the arts, that's what I want to focus on. And I know readily when I look at one place, if you go for this end to come back up and go up here to this particular end, I'm not calling any names. We had a lot of theaters here, so growing up, I didn't see those theaters like people were actually in there trying to, do theatrics or anything like that. So I don't know what it was looking like, let's say years prior to that. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, this is a small project for a bigger picture. I think it's a small project for a bigger picture, especially when you're looking at cultivating. So yes, I have maybe those. I'm like, well, no, those denials are not okay, and I'm applying online. And then a couple of them, they have windows, and that's the thing. Whenever you're getting funding, you want to make sure that you're kind of getting funded at a right time. Like right now, it's already in July, and I don't want to say that I missed out on a lot of stuff, but I think that I have. I'm like, wow, I started in March, and I need to start earlier, like really, like it really is a business. You understand? Because if we're talking about three different things, it's just like this: when you're applying for something, you could say, okay, well, this time I'm working on this. Right now, we're looking at raising money for the park. Simple. We're looking right now raising money for the park, so the park will have their money, so that they could do the logistics and the technical stuff that's necessary, like floor coverings and this, that, and the other. That's just for the park. Now we start talking about decorations. That's another thing. But we start talking about the art. Now we need money, okay, to even deck out the place to an oasis. And then it's like this. It's like, well, if it's gonna be chick, then how's it gonna be fat? And I'm kind of thinking about, you're right. I don't know. We got all those other days and any of that. They could go there. So now my thought about that particular space is a little different. Not that I'm trying to satisfy somebody else's thought about how it should look, or no, I don't want you playing those drums right there. No, 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 no. Go over here with those drums. And I like drums. But I'm like, well, I don't know this thing right here. This, I mean, nothing. I won't call it no struggle or nothing, but hey, it ain't fluffy. And I'm not saying that you're just beating on that ain't fluffy either. But for this little tune, it's just not there for that, and I'm looking for money. Now, what we're gonna do? We're gonna apply. So anyway, I think that maybe this letter, or the material that I will write will focus on. Um, it will focus on why, maybe about street need, us being a new organization, and our focus on the arts, and why we want to gain their support. And then it start going into this little day-to-day thing. We need operation costs. Okay, it's one thing right now being kind of functioning, but when you start looking at day-to-day costs, now you're looking at people who's willing to invest in one thing or the other. So it's one thing to say, okay, well, yes, I want this money right here because um then it's like, okay, well, why do you want the money? Is it more than art? I know we got some art organizations where they're focusing on, let's say, the arts, and they're trying to get more funding, and they're looking at the arts. That's the reason that's what happened in the 60s and 70s. Oh no, 70s, 80s. They took they stopped. A lot of the complaint was that they took art out of the schools. At the time, people didn't understand that. I mean, there were people who were really advocating about keeping the arts inside the school, okay? But when the government took over it, the thing about art is history. When you talk about literary art, visual art, now performing arts is a little different. However, there may be a particular dance step or something, a cultural dance or step that now it becomes its history. Okay, so the government started to take in the art, and then the application was different. So you had a lot of people who are out there doing art. Think about it. When we start thinking about all the arts from one thing or the other, arts, the drawings, and all that other kind of stuff, Nagusa, um, these things have a format about history. Okay? So I know that there's some pieces that just may be floating out there and people are not paying attention or this, that, and the other, but it identifies a neighborhood, a community, a city, a county, a state, a country, and you know what I mean? So it's like, well, we're trying to mix it in and integrate different kind of arts. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I know that I'm able to identify this art here. This is the thing that makes culture, okay? I'm able to identify this art piece here. I'm able to identify this one here. And I understand that this thing here, and don't get it misunderstood. I know it don't look like I be doing anything. Like I don't like classical music and opera and all that kind of stuff. I'm not playing it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What you know about all of that? I don't know. But that would be the point. We got to pick and choose. Here it is, all that material. So anyway, I will be getting a hold of them. And then my thought about it is, what about chick? What about business? Man, I'm asking people, I'm reaching out to people like that. And told me to go down the street to woo. Wow, people, wow. It's not so much about having your own thing or doing your own thing. It has something to do now with do your own thing. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's come together. Let's, collaborate. We've had a lot of people say, oh, we do the own thing, and we cannot take on the argument that people are not getting along and making things happen. People getting along and making things happen. Okay, people. The thought is when I was swimming, jumped in that pool, I said, I sure wish I had my team. I sure did. I ain't gonna fib you. I jumped in, when I come back up and I get out to go do it again, I said, I sure wish I had my team. No, seriously, people. So yes, I will be approaching some of these corporate. The thing is, this is the thing, boo. This is the thing. I'm working in my neighborhood. So for me to be like all the way, 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 way over there, whew, I told Mr. King, I said, Mr. King, he said, yes. I said, I'm working on it, Mr. King. He said, okay. I said, I'm trying to raise the money, Mr. King. It's one thing to just talk about giving me a box of chicken. You want some? 678-334-3409. IRATLIFT@gmail.com. And what did I say? I said, oh yeah, I was gonna get a hold of them and then chick. And then how did that work with business? How we gonna get to all the community economic development? I'm thinking that here it is, and I don't like it, but I'm not gonna go there. I said, Mr. King, he said yes. I said, I want some money for the park. I guess I could be there, and they talking about being there, and hold on, and get put some money in that hand. We're gonna make it happen. We can have all the little meetings about what that activity gonna look like. You right? We could do plugins, and I want to see what they doing. Can we do this little thing like this? I had a matter of fact, I had a little idea for Motown, and I saw it someplace else. I thought it was so cute, and it was talking about Barry Gordon and all of them. I was like, oh, that would be really nice to have like a little Motown play. So I saw this little idea of it, but it wasn't Motown. It was another little country people and their music, and I was just like, wow, this is neat. No, seriously, it's neat. And then there were some other ones. I mean, we'll get to Jack Waters when we get to Jack Waters, but he ain't gonna be over here at this park. Like that, people. Talk about some Jack Waters. Yes, I'll get to Jack Waters when we get to Jack Waters people. Hang up for me. I like Jack Waters. Oh, matter of fact, when he was doing all that yoga and all that other kind of stuff, and all the muscles, and he's just moving and carrying on. Oh, this is on community donations. It don't have anything to do with arts. We need the money, people. I'm sorry, taking it off again. TTYL.